talking about like behind the curtain of teaching, like the extra stuff, the stuff that people don't really think about that you may or may not be working on as a teacher, that however has a huge impact on your presence as a teacher. We're gonna start this tonight talking about boundaries. In the first little section we're gonna do, and this is just for you to write about, you can share what you please when we're done, but this is just for you to write first. We're gonna talk about how you're currently maintaining healthy boundaries. You're gonna write about how you are currently maintaining healthy boundaries with people in your family, at work, and with your friends. And then that first little bullet point is where we're just gonna start. Where do you, or where do you need to draw lines you will not cross with yourself, with your partner, with your friends, family, colleagues, strangers, or with children? So you even write that note in there, like where do you / or a little arrow, and where do you need to? Like you can distinguish what you need to do versus what you actually do now, because maybe you are a boundaryless person and you're all, oh, I know what I need to do, but I don't uphold any of these. So be clear. And that's I'm gonna give you 5 minutes, but hang on. While you're writing, it's like you can read those couple lines again, just remind yourself, like, how are you currently maintaining healthy boundaries, or what do you need to do? You're gonna write, and then when you think you're done, sit in meditation on it. You can read the question one more time, close your eyes, sit in meditation. If something else comes up, write. Don't just sit there looking around like you're done. Close your eyes and see if anything else comes up. Like utilize all 5 minutes to write about how you're maintaining boundaries or how you need to. Ready, set, go. Halfway. 90 seconds. Thirty seconds. Okay. So let's just talk about this. Like, don't worry about looking ahead or what other things that I'm going to ask you. Like, just talking about this thing in particular. Let's go around and discuss where you are with it. Just going to give you a couple minutes. You want to start, Courtney? You got it. Brandon? Sure. Okay. I'm going to turn my music off. I don't know if that helps y'all write. Just sometimes think some sound is helpful. Okay, go.
It's kind of an interesting question, I guess. I don't know if I felt like I don't have struggles with boundaries. I don't have a problem like telling people no. I don't have a problem separating myself from situations I'm not in. I want to. I was thinking about work. I get asked to do a lot there. It's outside what is my means or something that I think is not my responsibility. Like, I have no problem kind of saying that, hey, this isn't right, or if I disagree with something, or I feel like they're trying to push me to do something. Like, I've got pretty good convictions with that stuff. I really was trying to think of areas where I do struggle with this, and I'm maybe too stubborn sometimes, or like unwilling to do things that I'm not into. But I also want people, especially friends and family, to know that they can ask me for things. I want to be helpful. I want to be someone that they feel like I've got their back, even like with something just something like moving. Everyone hates moving. You don't have to ask me. I'll show up at for my friends or my family. Like, I'll definitely be there to help them do something like that. I don't care if they ask me. I don't know. Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you don't have enough time to do things?
Yeah. Sure.
Does it ever have anything to do with like obligations or like promises to other people that you think that you do? Like, you can't get things done that you needed to do because like you said yes to things, type of thing like that.
Yeah, but I don't take on more than what I feel like I can, I guess. Especially when it comes to work, something that I need to do, or something that I am expected to do. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Okay. So there's not, I'm just curious, is there like one thing you feel like that you could, I don't know, you need to set a boundary on, like with any one person, like nobody? Okay.
No.
Hashtag goals. Right?
I'm sure they're there. I'm sure they're there.
All right, Nick, let's hear it.
I wish I could say the same. I have probably the worst boundary issues in this room, I guarantee. So.
Why do you say that?
I need to cut everyone in my life off. I need to move. Like, I've said this for decades. I want a fucking moat around my house to stop people from being able to come to my house. Like, people plan vacations around coming to party with me. Like, whether I like it or not. Like, they will beat on my doors and windows until I answer. So I honestly don't know what to do. Like,
okay, well, where do you need to set a boundary? Like, what's a simple thing that you need to do? Like, how to set one tiny boundary? What is it? That's not a moat around your house. It's just,
I was thinking about moving to the country.
no, for real. Like,
Serious.
how do you address your problem now, being a human of conscious will, that can use his voice?
Okay, this goes all across all platforms. So I'm just talking about my house here, but okay, and my job. I do 4 departments jobs. I get paid for 1. Like I'm a complete fucking pushover in
Okay.
life. Like,
So you have no
and
boundaries.
so much to the point that it's amusing to everyone I know on how worked up and how much of a pushover I am. Like,
How do you really feel about that?
fucking pissed off.
That
I
people
feel
think
terrible.
it's amusing.
Yeah, I wish I would know someone like me that I could just sit and poke and prod at and get so worked up because it looks fun at how much enjoyment everybody gets getting me worked up. And then it's hilarious because like I do yoga and stuff, and like I'm the most stressed out person of everyone I know. And they're like, you're supposed to be all zen and yoga and shit. It's like, well, I mean, I am while I'm here. The
Okay.
second I leave, like every day when I leave here, somebody's in my backyard.
Okay, well then let's shift over about where do you need to set boundaries. So the person that's in,
I'm
we're
open
gonna
to
go on
suggestions.
for another minute here. So the person that's in your backyard, have you had a straight up conversation with them that says, you are not welcome at my house when I'm not here?
But just ask them
Yes.
to text you first.
That does not work. So they'll start.
That's what I'm saying. So,
They
like,
know my schedule. So I leave here at 8:30.
Listen.
At 8 o'clock, we'll
Your
start texting.
excuses, they know my schedule, they know where I am, but like, where are your words? Where are you communicating to these people? You are not welcome in my space. Do you say words like that? Do you? Like, look at them in the eyeballs, a serious human to human talk, that you are not welcome in my space without an invitation. My space, I need my
Yes,
space.
I do actually say that.
Okay, and what's
I
happening?
tell them they are
And-
not to show up unannounced.
Okay, and
It's
what
not work.
happens?
They show up unannounced,
And then what
and
do
they
you
think
do?
it's hilarious.
So they cross
because
your boundary.
I'll have other people come.
Hang on, hang on. You diverted. They cross your boundary. What'd you do? You ask them to leave?
get pissed off.
You ask them to leave?
Yeah, but they don't.
Did you leave?
They
Like,
don't
did you
leave
do
because they're
anything?
already there. Once they're already there,
I
they're
feel like
talking.
you're just like going, oh, fuck it. They're here. I don't want to deal with that. I told them not to. Like, how do you not have control of your space that you can't say, no, I would like you to leave right now?
I would like to know. I don't know. It's been like this my whole life.
Yeah.
Let's see, and I would allow you guys to come over, but then to allow you guys to come over, I've got to differentiate the people that I know. So I'll have somebody come over because everybody I know, they don't get along because I know so many walks of life and none of them get along individually, but I get along with all of them individually.
So if somebody was at my house and not leaving,
Yeah, I'm like, is there like a thing?
Honestly, that's not how I was raised. Like, I won't call the cops no matter what. I don't, like, I can't do it.
if someone is at my house and they're not doing what
Listening what I'm asking them to do.
can I call the police?
I
You
just
should
got,
probably get a cop to come over and talk to him.
I just got in a fight with a friend
Okay.
of mine for calling the cops on this kid.
Forget that.
Okay, yeah.
Is there a lack of confidence that's keeping you from like getting them to leave when you actually want them to leave? Like, where is like the disconnect? Why is it not actually happening? Because you have no control over your house. If you literally can't, like you cannot ask them to leave, and that's it. Like, I feel like you're like, I can. It just is. Like, and that's the way it is. And like, I suck at boundaries. Like, there's like, where are you headed?
I don't know. That's why I'm saying I'm open to suggestions.
Do you want them to leave?
Are you scared? Yeah, are you scared of losing their friendship?
Not necessarily. So, all right. So with some people, if
That's a good
I'm
question. Did you hear
super
what she
rude
asked?
with them, okay.
Did you hear what she asked?
She's worried if I'm worried about severing the relationship with them. No, not necessarily. But if I upset them to the point of they're really upset, then they'll break into my house and rob me, and then I would have to call the cops.
That is not a friend. That is not a friend.
Yeah.
That's not a friend.
But I get that, Nick, because Zach was like that. It's not that easy. I mean, it's not that easy just to say.
I've lived in the same house for 30 years, so like the kind of people that know where I live are not necessarily good people.
And you're not, I know, we're not
So-
gonna call it outside.
No one is.
I need to move.
Yeah, I feel like no one's respecting your boundaries, but you're not upholding them to say like, it's not okay that you're not listening to me. Like, you're not getting clear enough with them. I mean, I don't know, like if the person respects you at all and you're all, I need you to leave, I need to be alone in my house, please don't come back without contacting me first. And they can't respect that. Why are they invited to your house ever at all? Like, I just don't understand why you don't want to make that boundary. It sucks being the first time, and like all of a
Has it
sudden
been like
starting
that for
from
so
nothing
long?
to.
Oh, it's been like this my whole
Yeah,
life.
so then
Do you like being alone?
Yes, 100%. Like if I would be 100% happy if no one ever came.
Do you feel like you're the
You gotta
same
try to
person that
change.
you were 5 years ago?
I don't know, I've been pretty stagnant for about 10 years, but I don't think that I'm the same person I was 20 years ago.
Okay, well then that's progress, so just acknowledge that you're not who you were back when you let people walk over you back then, and start to uphold that.
I like that. It's true. Like this guy that comes to yoga and handles his shit and takes care of his business. Handles his shit and takes care of his business.
Yeah, I have no
Kicks
problem
people out of
really
his
yelling
house.
at people.
Yeah, you don't
I'm
know
really good at
Yeah,
yelling.
You need to break it.
Yeah,
So Nick, it is straight up your trauma. It's everything that's where you're having all
It really
those
is.
issues. We'll talk.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I don't have the answers for you. I can.
I would say like the answer is to not give up on it and be like,
Where's your
I
buzzer
can't.
at? We need to
We are moving on. I'm just, last thing I'm gonna say, don't give up on it because it seems like this impossible thing, 'cause that's how it's always been. That's an excuse, that's a distraction, like, try to remember, like,
So
if you wanna make the change happen, you have to really, really challenge yourself and all your relationships.
so outside of this room, there is someone in my life that is saying these same things to me. So I am
Yay.
somewhat working on it.
I wonder, like, if people want to hang out with you, so I wonder if you can, like, just set up an outside of your house a little bit of time.
I don't leave. Like, so I never leave. That's, but yeah, so it is so weird because like,
Yeah, you need to get done.
but yeah, I mean, I wish everybody didn't want to argue. It's like, I'm just,
Listen, you're gonna have to
It's a
become very unfun then.
Yeah.
All right, Kylie, let's hear it. What do you got going on?
Well, I just wrote about, I don't know, I guess like when I see boundaries being crossed is like when I'm with my family for like extended periods of time. They feel like they can just speak their minds about anything and everything, and that's when I tend to like get triggered and like coil up and kind of like, I don't know if I really wrote about anything interesting.
Well, I just want you to tell me about like your healthy boundaries in your life right now,
Well-
and where they need to be if they're not there.
Okay, cool. With my partner, it's kind of a new relationship, and first we hung out like every single day, like all the time. And then I realized like I need time for myself because I work 3 jobs and I have friends, I have a dog, and I have him. So I feel like I have set really healthy boundaries with that. And if I'm like tell him we'll hang out and then I'm like 5 hours later, I'm not really feeling it, and I'll be like, okay, well, I'm really tired. He's always really good about it. So it's a big change from my past relationship. So, I wrote that I could probably try to work on keeping boundaries at work better because I am trying to move up and be a manager. So like just always making sure relationships there are being professional because I have a lot of like really good friends that I work with and we're always joking around, like, you know, not inappropriate, but like just messing around. So just maybe
And
working
even
on-
in me, you're like not that nice to everybody.
I'm not.
So if
That's
someone
it.
comes
Yeah.
up to you, you're like, yeah, there's
that
scenes
too.
on both sides of you.
Yes, yeah. So I need to just probably be a little bit more professional with people at work.
The friends, yeah.
Yeah, the
That
friends.
makes sense. What about, we'll just leave it at that. Okay. Heidi.
A couple people, like there's this lady I work with, and she's an alcoholic, and she texts me and is like, wants me to come to her house and spend the night and drink with her. And I'm like, I can't. And so behind her husband's back in this whole drama. But so finally I told her what I thought, and I can't be a part of that. And she's going to ruin her life, and she's going to lose her job, she's going to lose her kids, and she's going to lose everything. And she ended up going, I mean, not just because of that, but she ended up going to treatment. But she still is like on the sly, like she wants to do all these things. And so now she doesn't really text me that much because I tell her exactly how it is. But I feel good about that because I don't want to be part of that, like relapsing and the whole family breaking apart. At work, I mean, I'm not really, like I hear people say, I mean, I just don't think I'm a people pleaser. I mean, I just don't think I am. I don't know. At work, I don't really have trouble. I guess as I've gotten older, it's easier to say no. At work, like if I don't want to be a committee, I just don't, you know. I did all that for years and years and years. Probably with Zach, I mean, like he needs to learn some boundaries with me, and then like me with him. And it's gotten easier because I've backed off this time finally. For our relationship, like I don't feel, I don't know, it's complicated, but just I would basically give in just to make him happy, and not like happy as in like, oh, I'm giving you money, but just like, okay, I'm gonna let you do that. Okay, you can move back in. Okay, as long as you're clean. I just want you to be sober. And now it's like, you can't move back in. You're not moving back in ever. It's really hard. Just, I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
You're right.
That's all I had time for, so.
I feel like I'm also a person that's not, it's able to set boundaries pretty well. Like I don't like to do things I don't want to do, like, or I'm uncomfortable with, or I just feel like I keep my principles. Yeah, so yeah, like I don't, like Brandon, I don't take on what I can't handle usually. So in that sense, I sometimes feel like a little bit self-centered. Yeah. But I was thinking like more along the lines like setting boundary, like how I want others to treat me. So like if that line is crossed, I feel like I'm justified or something. I feel like I just need to speak my mind more, and then just communications. I like to be on the same page as somebody, like just talk it out kind of, like, although I need to think about it a lot first to get my message across, like more comprehensively, like what I want the other to understand, and then they can tell me what they feel. So I think that's what I'm working towards. Like that's how I set my boundary, is just communication, and hopefully like with love and honesty. Yeah. And I think the other thing I'm working on is like if somebody suddenly crosses boundary, like a lot of time I will like get stunned, like I caught off guard and I don't know what to do. So I'm just like, and then and then that moment just passed. So like if I can't do anything about it, then just let it go. But if I could, then hopefully I can muster up the courage to talk it out.
Yeah, rather than ignore and act like it didn't just happen.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes that's like the number one thing to do with like by letting people like cross boundaries is not saying the thing that.
That takes time.
Just out of curiosity, like do you feel that way, like that you're not saying things you need to say? Or are you pretty like straightforward, like what's on your mind and you can say?
I try to be pretty straightforward.
I just want to be him.
I know.
No. All right. So
That's true. Okay, so I have learned through years to get boundaries because I never had them, Nick. I had a house like yours for about 15 years. And I just went with it. All the boundaries were blurred. I didn't know what they were, but my gut was telling me something was off. And I think that might be one of the things that you learn is no, yeah, that's probably not quite right. That's where it needs to stop. I had to break up with everybody, and move on. I stayed in my same house, but I broke up with everybody. I felt guilty. It was horrible. Boundaries can feel terrible, but I've learned over the years that boundaries are okay. I still feel a little guilty every once in a while when I need my personal space, and I have boundaries now. Probably the thing I've learned the most because of my experiences is that I am now very slow to let people in just to know me, because I'm still learning where that boundary is. So my relationships in the past, all of them blurred. My personal relationships, including my marriage, he just took control of everything. It was just a big blur. So I'm coming back from this. So, and it feels really empowering to be able to say no and mean it and to know that I'm done, or whatever your no is about. So it can happen.
No, it's really hard to say.
I love how you said it's like a
You have to. I have to. I wish it was like Brandon. I wish I had it. I wish I had that.
I used to have a house like that, where all my friends would be over all the time. I mean, high school, for a couple of years, it's actually get rid of my friends. Like, I'm still friends with those people. I mean, I like it and show up at my house more, you know, at this point.
Well, unfortunately, my friends were not the kind of friends you wanted to have friends with. I mean, almost, you know, hey, I'm probably going to call the cops on these people because they're, you know, I mean, what was the party house? It was where at 2 o'clock in the morning, everybody's coming over. It's like, okay.
When I worked at night shift, I think it was more manageable because there wasn't as many people. But now that I'm on first shift, there's more people that try to come by, and it's so overwhelming now that like I can't control it. It was okay when I was in night shift.
So for boundaries, probably the biggest thing that I've learned with boundaries in the last couple of years has to do with men. I think they tend to be very entitled, especially white men. It's true, in interacting with women on a daily basis, and just choosing to be celibate, choosing to respect my body and my space, and just say, you do not get to have a conversation with me if I don't want to. You don't have to, you know, and just like that has been really, really empowering. Because I think I was really socialized to be very demure and like, oh yeah, of course you want this. So, so that's really helped me get a lot of things clear and cut a lot of drama out of my life with that. I think for my daughter, for not antagonizing her and not arguing with her, I get really stressed out because it's just me and her all the time, and we can kind of like butt heads and stuff, and it's not healthy. So I think modeling good behavior for her is a big thing. And yeah, teaching taught me a lot about boundaries. Like you can be so selective, like it's all your energy, like what you let in, what you choose to hear, what you choose to feel, what you choose to see. Not everybody's problem is my problem. I don't have to see everything. Pick my battles, pick the people that I associate with. If somebody does something that feels like a violation of my boundaries, to tell them. Because yeah, I've gone through a lot of relationships with narcissists who have, but you know, that's was my codependency kind of allowing that. So yeah, I wrote a lot about
Those
this.
are some clear boundaries. I like them.
Is
I mean,
it?
they're
Yeah.
good.
I
They're
hope
like
it's clear because
legit.
I learned the hard way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, me too.
Yeah.
I feel inspired. Yeah.
Yes. I said that I need to draw a lot more boundaries, especially with my family, like my kids, my husband.
is when I don't have clear-cut boundaries, they forget that I'm a separate person from them. So like one of the boundaries that I'm really trying to have is that I pee by myself. You cannot sit on my lap. No, why? And I'm like, because I am separate from you and you do not need to join me for this. Get out of here. You will not die. And it's like so hard for them. And so, because when I don't like make that boundary, then I just lose it. Leah and I were talking about this today.
I wrote that down a little bit.
And then I was like, or is this like part of life of having 4 kids 7 and under? Or is that what I've been conditioned to think? Like hashtag mom life, because it sure as hell isn't hashtag dad life. Like our husbands' lives are not like that. Nobody was sitting on their lap when they're in the bathroom. And so my boundaries are like totally blurred when it comes to my family, or really anyone that I have like a close connection with, because I feel like maybe I'll make them mad if I say no, and then they won't want to be friends with me anymore. But like organizations that I'm in, or school, or any people that I'm not like super close to, like if I don't want to do something, I don't have as big problem saying no. But if I like you, I'm like, okay, yes, absolutely, usually. So I'm trying to like more like, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no.
Yeah.
Which is hard.
It's so hard.
Because that means my kids wouldn't play any sports or anything. Ugh.
You wouldn't do it that way, I guess.
You have to go. It's hot.
But then I'm always comparing myself to the other, because a lot of other parents stay and watch practice. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
hell no.
okay, your games are bad enough. Why don't you work it out at practice?
I feel like when you were asking Brandon if he isn't good at saying stuff he should say for boundary, I feel like I kind of suck at that. I've done better as I've gotten older. But there's a lot of time, like when I worked full time, there's a lot of things where I was like, gosh, I should have, you know, yeah. Or I just like did stuff that just because I was like being nice, I don't know. But I've done better with that. And like family stuff, there will be conversations that are just negative or I don't agree with, or just like downers. And so I've done better at like leaving or going outside or just like hanging with the kids, or, you know, just veering from that.
But not participating?
Yes, not participating. Yeah. Or try to change the subject or just end it quickly, whatever. And I feel like I used to just sit and be quiet. So that's, I don't know, things that bring you down, it's just not fun. So I've learned that. I need to set more boundaries with my kids, same, like, but other things too, like making them do more to help around the house. Like they have things too they need to take responsibility for, and I need to not do as much because it only makes it worse for me and me crazier. Like I'm only hurting myself. And like screen time, I just need to be more strict like with stuff. And sometimes it's just easier to be like, okay.
Yeah, setting those rules and boundaries, oh man. Limitations.
I know.
And then dealing with the backlash, good luck.
Yeah, I know. But some, yeah, I'm like, if you're gonna
It's not
throw-
just saying this is the way it is, then it's fighting back.
yes, the
Like,
tantrum, the screaming, like, is it worth it? Sometimes it's not. It's not.
just take whatever.
And like doing better at saying no to things. And I was with high school friends this last weekend, and everybody was overserved. And one of my friends like snapped at another, and she was like, so, and I was like, who fucking cares? I was like, she will not, yes. But I'm like, and I feel like I've grown a lot and learned in that way too. Like, don't let it bother you. Like, she won't think about it tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Like, life's too short. All the, you know, I don't know. I don't know if that's a boundary, but.
What is overserved?
Too many drinks.
Oh,
Drunk,
Oh,
sorry.
nice to say drunk.
Yeah, I was trying to be that over, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. No, had too much to drink. So emotions, like, yeah, and not wasting thoughts on silly stuff, or my energy on silly stuff is setting boundaries for myself.
Well, the same. I learned with the time. Look at me now, right? It took me time to learn. But what I learned is the best way is say in the moment and talk about facts, not about emotions. You know, because if you start to talk about emotions, you feel guilty because of how you feel and he's going to feel it. But if you're talking about facts, it's better when somebody say or do something that it's bother you, if you want to put a limit, is talking about facts. Of course, I still have problems sometimes with the boundaries, especially with the people I love, you know, because I start the emotion, not the facts first. So the emotions come first instead of my head say, hey, here's the fact, and it's easy if you go through the facts. And especially I'm vulnerable with my kids, you know, because I love to take care. It's a way to show my loving. Oh, you are here. What food you want to eat? I made this for you. See, and put it here, put it. But it's not going to be all the time. You know, it's that, oh, Mama, can you wash this for me? And could you wash that for me? Oh, yes, honey. But then, oh, you didn't? Oh, I couldn't. Oh, it's not my duty. It's your duty to check if it's clean or not. But don't tell me that I'm guilty for that, you know. So sometimes it's very hard for me in that case, you know, with kids. But I'm still working. That's it.
I just wrote a bunch of statements of the things that I refuse and just like, so I'm just gonna try to blurt it out like Courtney does.
Okay.
Okay, so I am boundary happy. I feel like I am unlikable by my family because of my boundaries. I do not allow things to take over my power. I'm not cool with cigarettes, alcohol, cannabis, prescriptions, traditions, which of course everything in moderation, but you cannot allow something to take over you. I will not be unable to admit my mistakes. I refuse to use power as a weapon. I refuse to treat anyone less than human. I refuse not to keep trying. I refuse to be unemployed. I refuse to be ungracious or ungrateful. I refuse to let other people dictate my emotions. I will cut you off if you refuse to grow. I will not let my relationships between myself I will not let my relationship between myself and my divine light, God, instincts, whatever, waver. I will not stop being who I am regardless of who is intimidated. I will always stick up for the unjustified. I believe we must go with our hearts. Our hearts are love. Love is everything. Love is boundless. I will not eat junk food. I refuse to accept infidelity and disconnection. I will not chameleon into my spouse any longer. I refuse to find attachment to wealth. I refuse to remain stagnant or complacent. I want my soul and life path growth to be boundless. Also, I never expect anything from someone that I cannot give in return. Time, energy, effort, heart, spirit, labor, ear to listen. I am who I am. I love me. I respect myself and my vessel. Becoming attached to something that I cannot lose is not an option. I refuse to lose my joy. I must be okay with letting go of an unexpected death, a lost job, a lost relationship, or a possession. Money and material wealth are not something to become attached to. Talking calmly is something that is a must. Verbal abuse is unacceptable, and I will not tolerate being yelled at. And reciprocity in relationships just means like it's a mutual give and take. It can sometimes flow without really knowing what you're doing, but reciprocity, just look it up.
That's awesome. I want to be your friend.
I feel like the opposite of you. Like everything you said, I'm like, damn.
I was like mean to myself when I was writing. I was like, just
You don't do
thinking,
this, you don't do that.
yeah, like my boundaries are just sucking right now because, and like looking back at how I used to be, like I was just such a cold-hearted person, and like I didn't care about what anyone thought about me. And I found that that was not the way to live. And so then I became like the opposite, where I cared too much. And so I'm like the two complete opposites. And I don't know how to go back. Like, could I go back to where I didn't care at all? And so I'm struggling with boundaries. Work, like working somewhere where you're serving constantly with kids, like the kids that we get, like their parents are crackheads and their kids have bed bugs, and half of them are being sexually assaulted and half of them are just sick, and it's really, really hard to just say no when I want to say yes. And so it's just, I'm really struggling with boundaries. And then being here for other people, can't be there when I'm not there for myself. So it's like just a roller coaster. Yeah, it's just really, really hard. But I think the only good thing I said was that when I do set boundaries, it like feels good after the fact. Like at first it like feels really shitty when I tell my parents, no, I can't come over, I need to be with myself. And then they're like, well, dang, you know, you suck as a daughter. But then I'm like, I needed time because when I'm around you, you make me feel like shit. So I can't be around you right now. Or like, you know, with other people. And I don't know, Colin, my husband, has been really good at helping me with this because he does not care about what anyone thinks about him. Like he will literally tell you no, and that's it. So I'm working on it.
At least you got a good guy.
Yeah.
Saying
Yeah.
no.
Okay. Boundaries has been my biggest struggle of my life. I'm constantly working on it, and I recently heard a quote that was like, you become a teacher of what you need the most. And so I'm always trying to read about boundaries, learn about them, figure out how the heck do you have them. It's just so hard. I never really said this out loud before, and because I'm trying to uphold an image, but I'm in an abusive relationship with my mother. And it's just like yesterday, I'm on the phone with her and like she wants me to do everything for her. And I'm just like, I can't, I'm busy. I have yoga teacher training. She's like, yeah, you're always so busy. You can't do anything for me. I'm like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, I get to decide how I spend my time. And she does not like that. She's very jealous and very angry. Or I'll, like one time I was with my little, with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and she's in a crisis. And I'm like, I can't talk to you right now. I'm with a child that I'm mentoring. And she gets jealous and she's like, oh, you'd rather spend more time with your little. And I'm like, this is a child. Anyway, I love my mom so much, and that's why it's awful. And like, I want you all to think very highly of her because she's severely traumatized, but that's because of her trauma. She's a 2-year-old in a 45-year-old body. And it's, oh my gosh. And because I am also serving in my work, I'm like so exhausted, and I'm like, I don't want to give. I can't give when I'm home because I'm so like drained, and she can't understand that. So that is, I'm in a lot of therapy. It's just, it's a mess, y'all. It's not good. I'm like, want to start a boundary support group. We need each other. I'm so inspired by like all this work you all are doing. But I made huge progress. Like from the time that I entered therapy a couple of years ago, like I am a badass. Like my therapist's like, oh girl, you told her no? And I was like, I know, but I was so scared. And I like ran away from it. And so it's baby steps, and you gotta like cheer yourself on. And like I get asked to help out with like community things a lot, and I'm starting to just say nope, and then keep reminding myself like no is a complete sentence. And I feel so awful, and it's so hard because yeah, I feel like you're hurting people. With my mom, I feel guilty if I help her because I'm violating my own boundaries. I feel guilty if I don't help her because now there's no one there for her, and I'm like, oh my God. And a lack of boundaries that comes from a lack of self-worth, not feeling good enough, and just never being allowed as a child to have the right to have your own opinion, have your own voice. But lots of trauma, and all of my childhood trauma has led me to traumas in like my young adult life. And again, I'm still a young adult, and people are like, "Oh, you're a 50-year-old in a 20-year-old body," and I'm like, "Yeah, trauma does that to you. It also makes you very miserable and has a lot of other issues." I'm like,
I think I forgot to start it.
oh, okay.
But everyone
Anyway.
likes to hear you talk, so
Yeah,
we're just
I love,
listening. I don't think anyone was like, "Is it kind of dang?"
I started rambling, so I was like, "Wow, I have all this time. How much more can I say?" And I was like, "Oh,
All right.
You know, that used to happen to me with my mom. And one day, she told me, because she's kind of maybe until the home all the time, you know. And I told her, you know, if you tell me this, exactly what she was saying, and repeat to her, you make me feel so bad. If you say that again, what's going to happen? I'm not going to get there. I'm going to be far away from you because you're carrying me. So please, if you want, I will go and do this. I love you, but if I say no, it's because I can't. But I tell her that way. And only one time.
And I've started doing it, and it has helped. She'll back off. But then once she comes back, she's like, "Oh, I'm just so toxic for you." And I'm like, "Oh my God." And then I can't remain my compassion. And that makes me feel guilty because that's what I want to be is supportive and compassionate. But I'm just like, oh my gosh. But yes, that does help. I need to keep doing it every time that she hurts me and says something awful to me. But I have gotten stronger and said like, "No, you can't. You can't like accuse me of trying to hurt you." Like she thinks I'm trying to put her in a mental institution and working with all these people against her. And like, you can't accuse me and then expect me to help you. Like, I can't help you if you think I'm trying to hurt you. And it's the most miserable thing ever.
Yeah, but
I feel so helpless.
To me, what helped me, because it's what I did, because I tried and I tell her, if you keep going doing this, I'm going to stop to see.
And then
I was very serious, you know.
I need to be serious about it because that's what I do is I'll try to set the boundary and then I don't uphold it. And that's the worst thing that you can do. Yeah, and she knows.
That's what I love. It was like 25 years of going through what you're going through. And then I'm just like,
See, I'm like, I know I gotta
The difference
get
is like
these
Courtney
demons out.
wants to have a relationship.
Yeah, I really
with
want
She
to.
wants
too. I used to cry about it so much.
But-
I'd be like, why can't everyone just let me be normal and not drink and just, you know, be normal? And
I have started to accept that she's not going to change and that
Yeah.
she's mentally ill
I was
and
gonna say
all
that.
things. And that's miserable. But it helps. Yeah, we're all.
Yeah, but she's like
I'm the
good
savior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go. So, healthy boundaries that I have been working on and maintaining in my life are with my partner. We've been going through a rough time, but over the last few months, I was like, I feel like I'm communicating like off of like just moment to moment emotions. So I decided that I was gonna stop I felt like I wasn't saying enough, but the truth was I wasn't clear on what was going on with me. Someone said that, like, I need to get clear on my own shit. Was that you, Jan? I don't know. But I was like, I need to get clear. And so that's exactly what I did. And then coming to him with like this really clear truth enabled me to just set some clear boundaries because I knew what I needed and what I wanted. And I wasn't guessing or shooting in the dark and being like, well, maybe this would help me. Like, no, I got in there and was all, this is the way, you know, and it felt really good. And it was really hard and scary. And I was afraid, you know, he wouldn't accept it. But, you know, luckily for me, not luckily, I got to the point where I was like, well, I'm not going to accept it if I don't say that shit. So that felt really liberating recently. And we've been actually having a nice time this week. So I upholded some boundaries. But yeah, anyway, it's always working on boundaries with him. But with friends, I don't feel like I have issue boundaries because I'm really good at saying no to hanging out and just like knowing myself and not stretching myself. I also don't have a ton of really close friends here, so it's easy. I don't get pulled a lot.
with the AWIP tribe, and this is like everyone that comes, I'm very conscious about my boundaries. Like I don't make myself readily available. Like people don't know my schedule. They don't know, well, you can know what classes I teach, but you don't know when I'm here doing things. And I make that, like, I don't want people to know. Like it's by appointment only. You'll start to learn as a yoga teacher, people just think that like you're the person to ask questions to all the time. So like you have to straight up make a boundary, you know? So, I let people ask me questions, but if they go too far, I'm like, well, I can do, you know, private coaching or training with you. It costs this much money for this much time. You know, I'm like, that's how I've gotten to the point of setting boundaries of like, well, I started to make an appointment. And then after the first one, I'll give you the first one. We'll talk about what you need to talk about. But after that, I'm like, okay, well, if you want to do it, like, you know, private coaching, private training, whatever it is, here's how much it costs. And for me, that's really hard because like I want to help everybody. But you know what? Like I built this fucking studio that helps a lot of people. Like let's leave it at that. And I need to learn to just say no. And I think I'm doing pretty good now. It's taken a little bit of time, but I'm doing pretty good. For myself, I do set boundaries. I'm always working on them. For me, it's like almost with habits. We're gonna talk about habits, but it's like I kind of like play into my habits. So I'll be like, all right, if I want to change my habit, I'll have a goal, and I won't let myself. This is how I set a boundary. I'll be like, you can't have the vice that you really, really, really want. And it's okay if you want, and you can have it, but you can't have it unless you meet this like goal. It's usually a boundary on something important. Like I've been, TMI, I've had a yeast infection for a long time, and there's specific foods that I've been trying to avoid that really do help. And I won't let myself have the vice that I really, really want if I can't like stay away from the foods that like are making things worse for me. Things like that, little boundaries. Like I set little things like that often. So one random thing I was thinking about while y'all were talking that, I don't know if I can put this into words of full thought because I was trying to listen to you and not think about my thought, but it just like boundaries with your relationships as far as like people in your life, and this could have to do with like attachment and things too, but like people in life that say or do something and it having like such a big effect on you. It's almost like your boundary isn't clear of like your relationship with that person. So, I mean, example, but this isn't what I was thinking about. Like as being in this teacher role, like it might be really easy for you to feel like you let me down, like based on your own behavior, but like there should be a little bit of a boundary. And like, if you let me down, like that's my shit. Like I had an expectation of you that you didn't know about. Like if that happened, like that's my own thing. So therefore, you know, you as a student, like seeing that in yourself, being like, oh man, when like I let her down, like I felt really shitty. Like the boundary should be, you know, you not taking things personally with me as your teacher, like me just being like critiquing you, being open and honest about how like I see things in the future and what I'd like you to work on, but it has nothing to do with like you as a person, right? So if you can make that boundary, and this isn't just with me, I'm just using myself as an example, but that boundary of like not letting people have that like below the line impact on you that takes you down. Like, so setting a boundary with specifically those people. And it seems like I would, you know, in this case, and this could be another case, someone that's really great in your life, right? So it's not that like I'm a bad person. It's just that like not letting me affect you in that way that takes you down. Like your boundary of like, I'm okay without like her agreeing with my teaching today or whatever it might be. Or this other person agreeing with whatever other behavior you're doing that you feel like you need their approval for. Okay, I'm done. What about you? No, of course not.
Courtney, you and I are two peas in a pod. So I think you guys have picked up, I have a really difficult relationship with my mom. She does not understand boundaries, especially emotional ones, at all. And I do suspect she's got some trauma in her past that she has not acknowledged or discussed or gotten therapy for. And, you know, I don't know what you do about that. So that is, like, you know, I don't know what you do, and she's not acknowledging that. So I had a hard time with boundaries with my mom, and it affected my life a lot. And probably my turning point was when she started overstepping my children's boundaries. And that's when I was done.
That was the line.
That was the line.
You don't cross this.
Yes, it's one thing to put me down and put, do all her crap on me. But when she started doing it with my kids, that's when I had enough. And she's very difficult. I know what you're saying, Mina, but it's really hard. Some people you cannot say, you will not do that. I mean, it's just, there are just some people in the world, it doesn't work. They won't hear that. They will, they just don't. And so basically, I don't have a whole lot of contact with her. I had to do it because of my family, my own personal family, and it's one of those where the buck stops here. I feel like that's, maybe this sounds dramatic or whatever, but I feel like that was God's calling to me. That was my job. The dysfunction stops here. So, the last time I saw her, she was in the hospital, here 6 or 8 months ago, and here I am. But anyway, so.
You almost got sucked in? Is that what that meant?
Yeah, it was just like, here we go. I just can't even come
That's
see
the
you in
same.
the hospital without it being a thing. And so, but anyway, I'm a better friend now, I'm a better wife, I'm a better mom, I'm a better everything. And so when I feel guilty about the fact that I said, ditched her. I mean, not that I've ditched, but you know what I mean. Very limited contact. I do think that I'm doing what I have to for my husband and my kids and my life, I guess. So, so that's where I'm at.
Do you feel like you have other healthier boundaries with everybody else? Is that why you focus on your mom? Like you're just.
Yeah, I think I do have,
clear.
but when I was in that, then it affected
Everybody.
boundaries on everything. I mean, I have a few friends that have difficulty understanding being a half hour late is not okay when I'm sitting there waiting, but these little things are not. I mean, I think I've done a good job picking friends that understand boundaries.
Word, that's interesting.
And my husband understands, So my biggest problem though, and that's where this will just be, I have a difficult time with my son. So boundaries and,
With yourself or your
my
son?
son. Yeah,
okay.
Jeffrey. He struggles with anxiety and depression, and he's had some really rough patches. And because I'm always so fearful, then I do tend to I'm getting better. But that's hard.
You let them cross your boundaries, or you cross your own boundaries just because you really want to care for and help and take care.
And so I just
Makes
I think
sense.
it's harder with kids.
We get that. Is it? I don't know. Ask Courtney.
I mean, it is harder. It's harder with kids, and it's harder with parents, and
It's hard with
that-
family.
Yeah.
Immediate
I mean,
family.
and I'm not saying friends aren't, but
No, but yeah. I feel you.
people don't look at you like, oh, you're not friends with him anymore, but oh, you don't have anything to do with your mom. What's wrong with you? Kind of thing too. It's like what kind of horrible human being doesn't. So, but anyway, Jeffrey and I mean, we're working on it.